Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are heading into the heart of Texas, specifically the Dallas-Fort Worth restaurant market. It's highly competitive, often brutal.
That's right. And our goal isn't just, seeing who's got the best burger or tacos. It's about understanding something deeper.
Right. We're looking at the sophisticated metrics of online reputation, specifically from Google reviews.
Yeah, we're using this really comprehensive September 2025 study from the Media Reputation Institute. They use machine learning, quite a lot of it actually, to figure out what really drives customer acquisition and trust today.
So we're moving way beyond just the simple five-star average score.
Light years beyond. Because, look, in DFW, just having decent food, that's table stakes. It's not enough anymore.
A strong online reputation, that's become the ultimate competitive filter, hasn't it?
Absolutely. So we took a big stack of sources on this. We're going to pull out the core insights for you. What you really need to understand about where this market shines and maybe where it's falling short.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, the kind of surface level stuff.
Let's ground ourselves first. Yeah. The baseline's pretty high. Almost every restaurant in DFW, like 95.9%, has some kind of star rating on Google.
Okay, and the average?
The overall market average is 4.3 out of 5. The median's just slightly lower, 4.18.
4.3, I mean, that sounds pretty good, right? On the surface.
It does. But we know the real game, especially in a tough market like this, is played at the very, very top.
Uh-huh. And the data shows only a really small fraction, a tiny slice, actually hits those super high scores like 4.9 or 5.0.
Exactly. So if 4.3 is just average, what makes the elite stand out? And often it's not just the score itself.
It's the interaction, the conversation around the reviews.
Bingo. And that leads us straight into, honestly, the first big shocker from this study. They called it the missing conversation.
The engagement gap, yeah, this figure is kind of stunning.
It really is. When they looked at, actual interaction, customer reviews, getting responses from the restaurant owners or managers.
Only about 1/3, just 33.7% of reviews got any kind of response at all.
Which means, do the math, a whopping 66.3%, basically 2/3 of customer feedback, just crickets, went completely unanswered.
Wow, 2/3. Now the question is that just apathy?
Yeah.
Or is it maybe that restaurants are overwhelmed?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is it we don't care or we can't keep up? Maybe a bit of both. Hard to say from the data alone.
Well, whatever the reason, that lack of engagement, it's a huge missed opportunity. You're leaving trust on the table.
Totally. You miss chances to build relationships, fix problems, show you actually care. Responding, especially to negative stuff, shows you're accountable. It can actually boost your reputation, even if the first review was kind of bad.
Okay, but what about the 1/3 who do respond? Are they quick about it?
Actually, yeah. Here's the kicker. For the restaurants that are engaging, they're pretty prompt.
Oh.
Yeah, 85% of those responses happen within 10 days. And almost all, 94.7%, within 30 days.
Okay, so the average response time is pretty decent then.
7.1 days,
right.
Which tells you.
The systems are there. The ability is there for many of them. It's the commitment across the board that seems to be lacking.
Exactly. So the competitive edge here seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You need to answer way more than just 1/3 of your reviews and aim for that 10-day window.
That feels like low-hanging fruit. Simple reputation building that most of the market is just ignoring.
It absolutely is. But, okay, that's the basic fix, the engagement piece. To really understand how to dominate, especially in DFW, we need sharper tools than just star averages and response rates.
Right, which brings us to those more sophisticated metrics the Institute developed, these machine learning measures.
Yep. Let's get into the science behind the scores a bit. They came up with 3 key measures, all normalized from 0 to 1, to capture different sides of online reputation.
Okay, what's the first one?
First up is the visibility measure. This was pretty straightforward. It basically reflects how much a restaurant gets reviewed and how often people actually look at those reviews. Think of it like online buzz or traffic.
Got it. Visibility. How much talk is there? What's number 2?
Second is the favorability measure. This gets more into the quality. It uses a special media endorsement index to gauge how positively people are rating the place, the overall sentiment, the emotional tone.
So not just if they're talking, but how they're talking, positive or negative.
Precisely. And finally, the third one brings it all together.
Okay.
The composite measure.
Okay, the synthesis.
Exactly. It combines visibility and favorability to give a clear picture of overall online health. And you need this combo because, well, the first two alone can be misleading.
How so?
Well, you can have a place that's super visible, everyone's talking about it, but they hate it, right? High visibility, low favorability.
Or the opposite, a hidden gem that people love but hardly anyone knows about or reviews.
Exactly. High favorability, but super low visibility. The composite score tries to balance those out.
Is it just like a 50-50 average? Or is it weighted? Like maybe favorability counts more because trust is so key.
It's designed to be more nuanced than just a simple average. The goal is you can't just game it with tons of mediocre reviews. You really need both volume and quality, visibility and positive sentiment.
So the composite score is like the final health report card for management.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Here's how you're really doing online, folks.
All right, let's make this concrete. Let's look at some top performers from the 16 DFW cities they stuttered. What does peak performance look like with these scores?
Okay, well, they actually found what you might call the gold standard. Wine Bros Island Grill over in Allen.
Oh, yeah. What were their scores?
Perfect. 1.000 across the board. Visibility, 1.000. Favorability, 1.000. Composite, 1.000. Just flawless digital execution.
Wow. Okay, that's the pick. What about other well-known places?
Well, you've got big names doing really well, like Shiva's Bar and Grill in Dallas. Perfect 1.00 for visibility. Everyone knows them. And their favorability was super high, too, 0.98.
Which gives them a composite of?
0.98. Very strong. People are talking, and they're overwhelmingly positive.
Okay, but where do the scores maybe show a bit more nuance? Like a gap between buzz and actual satisfaction?
Good question. Look at, say, a Texas Roadhouse, the one in Garland, for example. Visibility, perfect 1.0. Huge name recognition, lots of reviews, lots of traffic.
Okay. And favorability?
Drops a bit. Down to 0.82, which means their composite score also lands at 0.82.
Right, so that gap, that 0.18 difference between perfect visibility and the 0.82 favorability, that's where the story is, isn't it?
That's exactly it. That gap suggests they're great at getting people in the door. The marketing draw is strong. But maybe the execution, once people are actually seated, is a little inconsistent.
They've got the audience, but they're leaving maybe, almost a fifth of the potential positive feeling on the table because of operational slips?
Precisely. And that's the kind of insight these metrics give you that a simple 4.3 average just completely hides.
Okay, so understanding that operational slippage, digging into the why behind the favorability scores, that leads us to the next layer, right? The topic modeling.
Yep. To figure out why people give the scores you do, you need to structure all that messy review text. Topic modeling helps do that. It pulls out the main themes people are actually talking about.
It's not just a word cloud, it's identifying the core concerns.
Right. It gives management a much clearer, actionable roadmap. The analysis found 6 major themes, like the 6 pillars of the customer experience in DFW restaurants.
What are they?
Okay, they are. Food, obviously. Then overall experiences, service, drink, price, and cleanliness.
All right, let's try and bring those to life a bit. What kind of keywords pop up? Any specific examples?
Sure. For food, it's very direct, very sensory. Keywords like steak, seasoning, crispy, ramen, roll. And the comments are vivid, like one snippet was, perfect seasoning, all the meats were fresh and tasted so good. You feel that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What about service?
Service keywords are really about the human interaction. Friendly, professional, excellent, thank. And the snippets show real appreciation for staff effort, like this one. Servers are catering to you and your needs and how you want the dinner to go. That's about connection.
That personal touch. Okay. And then cleanliness. You mentioned this one might be an issue.
Yeah, cleanliness. Keywords are exactly what you'd expect. Clean, dirty, restroom, bathroom. And this is where the negative comments get, well, memorable. And not in the good way.
Oh, so.
People get very specific, very visceral. It's rarely just, it was dirty, it's how it was dirty. Like this snippet they pulled. The bathroom wasn't the cleanest either, and they had their dirty work gloves on top of the non-working paper towel dispenser.
Oof, yeah, that paints a picture. A really bad one.
Exactly. That kind of detail just torpedoes the whole experience, doesn't matter how good the steak was.
Right. And that level of detail, knowing exactly what went wrong, that's where the next analysis comes in. Aspect-based sentiment analysis, ABSA.
You got it. This is the real aha moment. ABSA takes those 6 themes we just talked about, food, service, etc., and it figures out the sentiment attached to each specific theme within each review.
So it's not just this review is negative, it's this review is negative because the service was slow or because the bathroom was dirty. Surgical precision.
Exactly. It helps distinguish between, say, someone not liking the flavor of the food, which is subjective, versus the food being served cold, which is an objective operational failure. Huge difference for a manager.
Okay, so where is the negativity concentrated when you break it down by theme?
Well, if you just look at the sheer volume or percentage of all negative comments, food actually gets the biggest slice, about 53.19%.
Over half. That sounds bad for food.
Well, yes and no. You have to remember, food is also the topic people talk about the most by far. So naturally, it's going to collect the largest raw number of negatives, just statistically.
Ah, okay. Context matters. So what themes are maybe more concerning, even if the percentage is lower?
The ones that point clearly to controllable operational issues, like service that pulls in about 26% of the negative sentiment. That's significant.
And cleanliness. You flagged that one earlier.
Right. Cleanliness only accounts for about 5.85% of the total negative comments, but the impact of those comments is huge.
Because they're often about basic failures, not subjective tastes.
Exactly, like that bathroom example. These are often fundamental operational breakdowns, and frankly, they're often easier and cheaper to fix than, say, totally revamping your menu, because some people didn't like the seasoning.
Okay, so let's connect that back to the big picture reputation scores.
Yeah.
How do these 6 themes rank overall using those visibility, favorability, and composite measures?
Right, this really tells the story. Food, despite getting a lot of negative comments volume-wise, actually dominates the overall reputation measures. It ranks highest across the board.
Really?
Highest. Yeah. Composite score of 0.71, perfect visibility of 1.00. The positive comments about food clearly outweigh the negative ones overall. It shows DFW restaurants, fundamentally, deliver on the plate.
Okay, that makes sense. What about favorability? Which theme gets the most love?
Here's a bit of a surprise. It's a tie. Overall experience and drink both tied for the highest favorability score at 0.94.
Interesting. So when people talk about the general vibe or the drinks, they really like them.
They love them. And that points to a hidden opportunity, especially with drink.
How so?
Because the drink theme, super high favorability, 0.94, but its visibility, tiny, just 0.05.
So people love the drinks, but they barely talk about them online.
Exactly. Restaurants are nailing the drinks, the bar service, whatever it is, but they aren't promoting it well, or it's just not coming up in reviews often. That's a huge untapped area to drive more positive buzz. Feature those cocktails.
Okay, good insight. Now, the flip side, the biggest problem area, has to be cleanliness, right? Based on what you said earlier.
Nailed it. Cleanliness, it hits rock bottom. Lowest composite score by a mile, just 0.01, and the lowest favorability score at 0.22.
Oh, wow, 0.01 and 0.22. That's dismal.
It's not just low. It's practically an active deterrent based on these scores. It flags cleanliness as the single most critical, most urgent area for improvement across the entire DFW market, according to this data.
And it's fascinating. People don't talk about it much, low visibility, but when they do, it's overwhelmingly negative, very low favorability.
Exactly. Compare that to, say, price. Price also has super low visibility, 0.03. People just don't comment on cost that often.
But when they do,
favorability is actually pretty high, 0.81. So generally, people seem satisfied with the value. They just aren't motivated to write reviews about it. Cleanliness is the opposite, low volume, high negative impact.
Okay, so let's synthesize all this. We've gone through engagement, metrics, themes, sentiment. If you're a DFW restaurant operator listening to this, what are the absolute key actionable takeaways, like the top 2 things they need to do now?
Right. Based on this deep dive, number 1 has to be drastically increase review response rates. That 66% unanswered gap is killing trust-building opportunities.
Stop seeing reviews as just complaints. See them as conversations waiting to happen. And aim for that 10-day response window. Make it policy.
Absolutely. That's step 1. Step 2, focus operational improvements laser sharp on service and cleanliness.
Forget tweaking the dessert menu for a second.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Look, the data shows these 2 areas, service and cleanliness, are generating the most potent, specific dissatisfaction. They represent the real friction points. Fix the basics, professional staff, spotless restrooms, and the reputation scores will likely follow.
It's an interesting tension, isn't it? The thing people talk about most, food, is actually rated pretty highly overall. DFW is a good food city. The data confirms that.
Right. But the thing people talk about least, yet arguably, is a basic necessity. Cleanliness is the absolute lowest rated aspect.
Which leads to a kind of provocative final thought, doesn't it, about the platforms themselves, like Google reviews?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Right now, the sheer volume of positive food was great.
Yeah.
Comments can easily drown out those few, but critical bathroom was disgusting comments.
So the question is, will platforms evolve? Will they maybe start to prioritize the quality and severity of negative feedback, especially around basics like cleanliness or safety or service failures?
Could they start surfacing those critical negatives more prominently, even if the overall star rating is high? Forcing businesses to nail the fundamentals, not just the flashy food photos.
Making it so you can't hide a dirty restroom behind 1,000 great steak reviews.
Exactly. It's something to think about, how the very structure of online reviews might need to change to better reflect operational reality. Something for you to mull over until our next deep dive.